Hello everyone, welcome to our first live session. Please give me a thumbs up or just tell me in the comments. So, are you able to hear me? We'll just wait for some people to join in and then we'll get started. Our guest for today is Kirti Tripathi. She is a certified behavior consultant and she is a canine trainer. We'll just wait for her to join in and we'll get started.
Hello.
Kirti.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, you are. Am I audible?
Yes, you are. You are. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are Candy and Russell?
Great as usual. Candy, my Velcro dog is here, and and Russell, I think, has gone for a walk. I guess my brother has taken him for a walk.
Oh.
So yes, thank you for having me here.
Thank you for joining us today.
Let me. I'm really not good with all this. Let me just.
Right. So, Kirti, please tell us about yourself, and we'll get started.
Yes. So I got my dogs from somewhere in 2015, and we had a terrible start, as any first-time pet parent would. And in 2018, I know when things really crossed my mind. I was like, okay, fine. Why not train them myself? So then I got into reading a lot, learning a lot, and then I got my own certification. So yes, since then we've been working on a lot of things, and I'm glad that we thought of working on it.
Oh wow, that's an awesome start. And I just heard that Candy and Russell bit a mouse.
Oh yes, yesterday they did. Oh God, they're fine. They're fine. Thank God. Thank God to their immunity.
Okay. As you guys heard that Kirti is a certified dog trainer and she's the behavioral consultant, and many of you don't know that she's also a raw food specialist.
Yes. Yes, thank God to the resources and very good people like we have in the community on the WhatsApp. Everybody is so genuine, everybody is so accessible, reachable. We have questions at like 11:30 as well. People are there to help, right? So yes, that motivated, like, okay, fine, yes, let's read about it. Let's know better.
Okay, that's awesome. So we'll just get started. Kirti, I've prepared a list of questions so that it'll be short and crisp so that it'll not bore anyone. Yeah. So, Kirti, what do you think about crate training a dog? Some people think it is cruel, and some people think dogs feel like it's a den, like in the wild. The dogs go inside the den and they chew on a bone or they'll take rest. So what do you think about
Yeah.
the crate training?
Okay. So my take on this is uh, how it's introduced to a dog, right? It depends on that.
Okay.
I mean, everything. The result depends on how a crate is introduced to a dog, right? There are people who would crate their dogs for long hours, long extended hours. So that is not how it is done. The crate is supposed to be a comfortable space that you create for your dog, as in your dog wants a relaxing environment to escape to. He has a crate, right? That is something how
Yeah.
you want to create. Yes. So I mean, yes, when introduced well, it's a very good tool. It's a very good tool or thing that you can use in your daily life. The crate won't teach certain behaviors, but definitely just as an escape or as a mat that I use. Right. So crate is the bedroom, a dog's bedroom, you can say.
Okay, that's an awesome view of the crate. And have you crate trained Candy or Russell?
So I got it rented in Delhi while I was in Delhi. I wanted to see how to work around it. So yes, Candy is. Russell then wasn't, because he already has his two spots. He chooses two spots and then he likes to relax there. But then yes, I did not really train him. Like I did not train him. Otherwise, I could have. But then I did not go
You
forward
chose
with
not.
it. But then yes, Candy is.
Okay. And Kirti, your voice is breaking a little.
Sorry. Is it fine now? Is it fine now? Let me
It's much
check.
better.
Is it?
Yep, it's much
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Okay. And there are some dogs with severe behavioral problems like separation anxiety, aggressiveness, and aggressiveness is not an easy thing. We cannot take it easy at all. If you got like a loaded weapon on the other end of your leash. I have met
Yes.
some
Yes.
aggressive dogs, and it's not a easy thing which we can do it. Like, how does this behavioral problems arise? Is it like the past trauma, or is it by the behavior of the dog or the breed? Like these Cane Corso, Presa Canario, all those dogs, they have like high prey drive, and they like just go and bite whatever they find, whichever is running. Like small kids are. It depends, like on how the dog is trained. Like in the normal
Yeah.
way, very small kids who will be running around are not safe around them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what do
Okay.
you
So,
have to say about this?
talking specific, I mean, prey drive is different. Yes. Aggression is really different. So every behavior depends on the learner's history, the past learning history, right? There are various bits to it. Genetics plays a role, the past learning experiences, the conditioning, as in how does a learner associate a certain stimulus or a certain trigger or something, anything in the environment, right? How does the dog associate? So a lot depends on these bits.
Okay. So, like,
Hi, Ashwini.
whenever,
Hi, Ashwini. Sorry. Yes, right.
sorry,
I was
like
just saying
whenever,
hi, Ashwini.
it's fine. Like whenever a Pesa Canario or such a high breed, high energetic, high prey drive wala dog, how
Yeah,
can you train such a dog who like some it depends on their past trauma you told, past history you told. Like
yeah.
how do they sorry?
Yes, continue.
Okay.
Continue.
Like how do you train such dogs? I got some questions
Okay.
that I've got a Reza Canario and I got him like a security dog. And like he's
Hmm.
gotten so aggressive when he's a puppy, he start biting and nipping. So we just mentioned that he may be just teething, but he could be a high energy dog. Like when he grows up, it's not easy to
Hmm.
control him without a proper training.
Okay, I'm a little confused about the question. So, a puppy nipping or chewing can be
Hmm.
various reasons. It cannot be just saying or labeling it as aggressive, right? So, every behavior has a function. A puppy nipping or chewing can be anything, can be teething, can be he's bored, can be he's tired, he wants to sleep, or he wants attention, right? There can be a lot of various reasons because a dog is doing something. And when coming to aggression, as we spoke of it, so a lot of these behaviors happen when we just have to think of, why is my dog doing this? What is my dog getting out of this? So, for example, if you have a dog who sits throughout the day, looks out of the window or maybe looks out of the main gate, he sees people passing by, right? And then the dog barks. And then he sees, oh, the person went away. So he gradually learns with a repetitive learning history. The dog eventually learns that somebody is passing by, the dog has to bark, and then the person leaves. So that is an antecedent. What happens before the behavior? A person passing by, there is a behavior, the dog barks, and the person goes. That is the consequence, right? So with that, when it is repeated like throughout, the dog eventually learns that he has to bark at anybody going outside, right? So there has to be a function. Every behavior has a function. Why is the dog doing something, right? So now, if you're talking about maybe aggression, so I had this case a few weeks back. So there was this Pomerian, a male Pomerian, who would bite anybody. Like the owner came with, my dog bites, my heaven bites anybody who comes to pet him. So,
Oh,
I mean, there's a law. The dog bites everybody who tries to come and say hello to the dog, right? So you need to see the body language of the dog. As in, is the dog allowing somebody to get near him? Right? He's not. Clearly, he's not. Right? And then we as owners don't advocate for our dogs and let people come by and touch the dog. And then this guy came to me after the dog had bitten like 12, 13 times. I mean, we need to be very, very, very cautious about it. I mean, first it happened. Okay, no problem. Fine. Get to a behaviorist or a trainer. I mean, get some help. Yeah.
that was a pretty brief and really good answer for that. Okay, and my next question is, I've come across some people even on the road, and when I go to certain adoption centers, or I meet some people, could be a friend or could be a distant relative. Some owners hit their dogs. They really hit their dogs very much, and or some pups have seen a car, or like when before they're rescued from the street, they have seen a car or a bike run over their fellow dogs. Such
Yes,
pups
yes,
go into a very severe trauma.
yes,
When they go into a
yes,
severe
absolutely.
trauma, after they are rescued, they exhibit certain behaviors. They get really scared of vehicles, or they really get
Yeah.
scared of passing by the road. So how do we help them recover from that, and how do we make them proper a confident dog? And certain adoption agencies go through this problem because they have rescued their dog
Yeah.
from the stray, and they are not able to get that dog adopted. So it becomes a burden for them. It's not like a burden. We are not able to find that dog a proper family. So how do we help that kind of a dog?
Got it.
What do you suggest?
Sure. So your voice was breaking a little here, and just to be clear, we're talking about a rescued dog from the street who has had a bad learning experience in his childhood,
Exactly.
right? In his
Exactly.
puppyhood.
Yes.
Sure, sure. So first, first and the most important thing is giving the dog enough time to decompress at home in a
Okay.
safer environment, right? Decompression. So I tell you. So maybe if we go to a haunted house sort of settings and we are really scared of it, our adrenaline levels go up, our cortisol levels go up, right? And then maybe in another 4 hours, 2 hours, maybe 6 hours, depending on an individual, right? So for a dog,
Kirti, you're breaking. Not able to hear you. Oh, oh, can you please back up? Your voice completely broke up. We could not hear anything.
I'm sorry, I'm technically handicapped.
Sorry? Yes, you are. I think your internet connection is breaking a little.
Oh God, was I audible? Was I audible?
No, your internet connection is breaking. We are not able to hear you. Yes. Yes, you are.
Awesome. Okay, so we were talking about a rescued case or fearful dog, right? Okay, the first step will always be to give the dog enough decompression time inside your house, inside a closed, controlled environment where the stressors or triggers are not there, not present, right? Give enough time to decompress or those stress hormones to come down, right? So I was just giving an example of maybe if you're visiting a haunted house or whatever, your adrenaline levels
Yeah.
and cortisol levels go up, right? So for humans, it takes a maximum of 4 to 6 hours, depending on an individual, the levels come down. For a dog, the adrenaline levels come down in a day, in one day, and the cortisol, it takes around 2 days to come down, right? And then this is a minimum, and it will depend from dog to dog, right? Depending on the past traumas, depending on the histories, it will depend on the dog. Hence, it's very important to give them the decompression time, and then you bond with the dog, as in the dog can trust you enough with those important choices. And it's very important to observe your dog's body language in general. Trust me. So Candy was 8 months old. Candy was 8 months old when she met with an accident. She was like run over by a four-wheeler, and I just could not even touch her. I could not even be in a similar space with her. I could not. So I learned.
Oh,
And that is when I knew, okay, fine, she is not letting me touch her. Maybe I should back up. So that is when people are like, oh, the dog is growling at me. I think the dog needs to get a lesson, right? So that is where the connection goes wrong. You need to see what the dog is trying to tell you in their language, right? You can say whatever you want to say, but the dog cannot make sense out of it. For the dog, it's just white noise. It's just white noise. The dog is not, this is just listening and is not making sense of it. Right. So for any rescued dog, irrespective of you have no idea of the past traumas, past histories, you have to give them enough decompression time. You have to observe their body language, give them a lot of choices. The dog doesn't want to snuggle or cuddle with you, it's okay. Give them another space, give them their crate or or mat or any easy access to whatever they want to go to. And
okay.
third would be, I think, management. Management of the dog's environment. Whatever stresses the dog out, can you avoid those things? So, for example, if you have a fearful dog, can you avoid those routes? Can you take odd hours to take your walk outside? Or maybe you can drive to a park nearby when nobody is present there. Maybe give the dog enough time to explore the world outside without getting in contact with the stressors or triggers. Can you do that? I mean, you'll have to do that just if because you want to build on that connection. So yes, you need to manage the environment.
Yes.
I
And
talked
this is
about
the most important thing I have heard from all, like a lot of trainers who I have spoken with. You know, should not control your dog. You should always control your dog's environment. See,
Exactly,
this makes a
exactly.
lot of sense now.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah,
So,
this makes a lot of sense.
one thing I like to share. Okay, I talk a lot. I talk a lot. So, I mean, a while back, Candy Russell and I came back to Delhi to Lucknow, and this house is situated on like on the main road, and just right opposite there's a cycle track where everybody has to walk their dogs. Everybody has to walk their dogs. So Russell has this habit. I mean, he just wants to escape, and he's just sitting at the main door, and somebody passes by. Then the the learning history, and also we have a community dog, Poppins, who sits right outside my door because I feed her, we play with her, everything. So Poppins gets triggered, Poppins starts barking, Russell starts barking, Candy starts barking. So this is something what happened. So I got a window sheet, a translucent or an opaque sheet installed on the main gate. So these guys have visual blockage to the view outside. So they just can't see things out there. So their stress levels are controlled, right? Just a tip, just a management tip that I wanted to share with everybody.
Oh, that's really good. That's a really good tip. Like whenever I have to shift to some other place, we may be situated in a ground floor, and this tip will really come in handy because Krypto is too reactive.
Yes, please do that and let me know how it goes.
Yeah, because of him, I'm
Uh,
not able. Sorry, you were telling
sorry,
something?
sorry. No, no, no. I was just
Because of
going through the.
comments.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because of him, I have to go to the ground floor for each and every delivery. Could be Zomato, could be Amazon, could be anything. He just starts
Okay.
barking at the delivery agents, and then
Got,
after they come here, he'll let him pet them, and then he'll leave. Then he'll calm down. Again, it starts.
got it, got it, got it. So you have to stop the rehearsal of the unwanted behaviors. Practice makes perfect, right? Practice makes progress in practical sense. So don't let the dog practice those unwanted behaviors. What can you do? Maybe have him on a leash and maybe not let him outside on the balcony. Don't let him steal, right? So
Yeah.
whatever you can control in the environment, please do that.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we'll go to our next question. How do you achieve a perfect recall in dogs? Like when we take them outside, we want to have some off-leash fun. We'll take them to some kind of a mountain or a light outstation one, and
Yeah.
they start following their nose, and they just head off somewhere following their nose. And when we call them, they don't turn back, and sometimes they get lost. And
Yes.
in
Yes.
certain
Yes.
cases, they start picking up something, and when we go and try to remove it from their mouth, which is not there, which is not supposed to eat, and they start running from us, and it can cause the dog to get lost.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So there is nothing called like a perfect recall, I would say, because 99.9 can happen. Point one is always there a chance, right?
Yeah,
So also
external factors.
everything starts at home. You need to be perfect in a recall coming when called inside your house first. राइट बिकॉज वही है ना एवरीबडी एक्सपेक्ट अ लॉट आई मीन वही है बच्चे ने भी अल्फाबेट सीखा है और हम सोचते हैं कि अच्छा सेंटेंसेस भी बनाओ राइट so
Yeah,
this doesn't happen right you cannot expect your dog to go from 0 to 100 in like 2 sessions or 3 sessions. You just cannot. So what can you do inside your house is maybe go to some other room, uh, call your dog whatever your recall word is, call the dog, and once the dog comes here, yes, treat. Treat should be a high value treat, and the treat depends, it should be comparable to the environment you're working in, right? So maybe if your dog is following his nose outside on the road or maybe in a park, kibble won't match the environment there. It won't. It just won't. The dog will like, okay, fine. Kibble is something that I get at home. I don't want to miss out on this party just because of a kibble, right? I don't. What else do you have? Right. So yes, you need to match your treats. You need to match your reward. Reward in that case depending on what environment you are in.
Okay. So, and
Yes.
I wanted to ask you this also. So how do we differentiate between a normal treat and a really high value treat and training treats? Like all these
Okay,
are the
okay.
same kind, or
Yes, yes, yes.
it's differentiated?
Glad that you asked this question. So it's very important. Also, coming back to your last question, recall, if your dog is not really good at coming when called, please get those long lines from For the Love of Dog. I mean, they're beautiful. I mean, it gives your dog a sense of freedom, and it gives you a freedom of safety for your dog. Right? It's absolutely best. Practice it on a long line when you're out. Right? Practice inside
Yeah.
without a leash, whatever. Practice outside, maybe in a closed environment like a park on a long line. Right? Maybe go back, just take 2 steps, 3 steps back, call your dog, yes, three. Right? So do that. Like, then gradually increase the distance. So there are 3 things: distance, distraction, and duration, done individually to prove any behavior that you want. Distance, distraction, duration. For anything, if you're just working on a sit, can your dog sit for 2 seconds? Can your dog sit for 2 minutes? Can your dog sit while somebody is throwing his favorite toy across the room or whatever? Right. So, I mean, everybody
Yeah.
needs to work on those things, those 3 parameters individually. I mean, you need to put in the work. The dog only knows what you teach the dog. Right. That is a baseline. You need to work for it. I mean,
Yes.
you as a pet parent. Okay, there are a lot of questions here, and I think you might also want to take them.
Oh, oh yeah. Okay.
Thank you,
We
everybody who's joined this. Sorry.
sorry.
Thanks to everybody who's joined this.
Yeah, thank you everyone. Oh, we've got a lot of people joined in here. Okay, our
And there
first
are a lot
question.
of
Yeah, we've
hmm.
got a first question from Jeevan. How to deal with a dog who snaps, bites, or growl in her sleep every time she's touched?
Okay. Okay. When a dog is sleeping, or when any person is sleeping, whoever is sleeping, don't just bother them. Don't bother them. If you want to move a dog who's sleeping, so fine. Candy is sleeping here. Can you sleep in yours? Just a minute. Candy. Good girl, Candy. Good girl. Good job. I mean, I think you couldn't see that. So Candy
No.
was sleeping here. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm just so bad with this. So Candy was sleeping here on her mat. Candy, mat. Candy was sleeping here on the mat. I just went across like 2, 3 steps from her, and I just called her. That's it. I mean, it's very important for you to wake up your sleeping dog. I mean, who does that, right? I did that. I just did that. I mean, if it's very important, please, I mean, wake them up from a distance, call them to you. Please give them a reward. Please give them a reward, and then let them go back.
Okay. So this is a
Yes,
pretty good one. So we should not touch them. We should just call them using our voice.
yes, exactly. If it's very important to wake up the dog.
Okay.
And otherwise,
And we've got a
then there comes your management. There comes your management. Can you maybe ask your dog, get your dog to sleep on the mat or wherever you want to in the first place, right? So,
yeah.
hmm,
Okay. We've got a second question here. How to decompress? So how to
okay,
decompress is yeah.
yes, decompression. So there are a lot of sorts of enrichment. The latest post on my feed is about canine enrichment. So canine enrichment is basically, how do I get my dog to use his natural abilities, natural instincts to get his needs met. Right. So for example, the dogs like to chew, shred, jump on things, run, sniff a lot. I mean, there are a lot of things. Use their brain, use their nose. How can you do all of that? Right. So, I mean, maybe there are a lot of puzzle toys, there are a lot of food stuff toys, obstacle course inside your house using your furniture, asking the dog to come, get up, get down, get under a table, crawl under a table, whatever you can do to engage your dog's physical ability, senses, nose, whatever. Get creative, and there's a post on my feed. I mean, go through it, and in case you need more ideas on that, more individual ideas on every category, please feel free to drop a question in my DM.
Okay. And we'll go to our next question. It means that dogs doesn't like sudden movements at a particular time. Are there some dogs who don't like movements at a particular time? I really did not get your question.
I mean, so maybe was this the same person who asked about the sleeping dog?
Yeah. No.
Okay. So, who was that? Can you ask the person to drop in their entire question? I mean, we couldn't get it. Sorry.
Yeah. It's fine. We'll go to the next. I'll be asking you the next question. And
Yeah.
can you give some ideas on indoor games? Like it's raining horribly outside. We cannot take them for a walk at all. We can't take them for their sniffing or a sniffari.
Yes.
So how do
Yes.
we do the indoor mental simulation?
Yes. So, do you know what is your dog's play style like? Does he like to chase things? Does he like to be chased? Or maybe he is a silent, maybe just a viewer, or he just is a solo player. So, for example, Candy is like more of a viewer. She just doesn't engage much in other dogs' plays. Russell will be running everywhere, but then Candy will be just near me, sniffing around. So depends on an individual dog. What does your dog like to or prefer to while playing? Right. So depending on that, can you do something? So for example, you can play fetch, you can play tug, or a lot of these activities depend on your dog's health issues, body conditions, agility, like a lot of levels are there. I mean, you don't want your dog to be jumping much on a hard surface or a cemented floor. You don't want to. Maybe place a carpet and don't do much of those repetitions. Don't. Maybe just 10 minutes of play at once. Give your dog a break, and that is something like structuring. Maybe 10 minutes of play. Ask your dog to maybe get on a mat for 5 minutes. Relax. Get the dog to relax. So the dog eventually learns how to have an off switch, right? And then maybe come back to get the dog to play some relaxing games, maybe some sniffing, some calming activity, right? So one thing else that you can do is those obstacle courses. Yes, absolutely, obstacle courses. You can create some fun obstacle courses using your furniture or maybe a broomstick or something, whatever is available in your house to make an obstacle course. Make it fun for the dog. Right. Or maybe if you can hide their favorite toy somewhere in the house and ask the dog to go sniff and find it. I mean, this is something that most of dogs would love, enjoy. And please don't make it like hardest in like the first attempt. Don't make it very easy. Make it very easy. Maybe just behind a sofa or maybe just behind a door. And then get creative and then just increase the difficulty level for your dog.
Yeah, so basically canine enrichment should be much more of fun than stress.
Yes, exactly. I mean, nobody wants to like, nobody wants to be doing something that is like very hard for the dog, like in the first or second attempt. I mean, who wants to give a try at that, right? So make it fun and make it challenging gradually, right? Yeah. Let the dog get a gist of what is happening.
So he enjoys it, does not stress us out or leaves away from that area.
Exactly. Okay. You also get to learn a lot about your dog's behavior. As in, is the dog comfortable going up a sofa? Are there any certain spaces in your house where the dog is afraid of going? Right. There are a lot of things you observe. just because of that. I mean, this is something that I know. Candy prefers to take a left turn, but Russell prefers a right turn. There are a lot of basic things you get to know while you observe your dogs.
Okay. And when Candy takes a left turn and Russell takes a right turn, what do? You go
Okay,
straight?
so no. This is something that I am planning to. So there is a trick called rebound. The dog just jumps up on you and then goes. Right. So the direction is what I'll be using in this rebound, so that I don't choose the dog's wrong side to do that trick. Right. Get the thing.
Okay. And we got
Exactly.
complete. Prakash told us about the movement question was about the sleeping dog. It means that
Yes.
the dog does not like sudden movements at that particular time. He has asked a question.
Okay. So for that dog, maybe the dog was, was he startled? Can you give him a quiet, cozy corner to sleep in and do not bother? I mean, undisturbed sleep is very important for dogs. Can you give him a quiet corner to let them rest? I mean, this is very important.
Yes, for the mental and the physical health of the dog, proper sleep of
Yes,
15 to 20 hours is required.
exactly. For an adult dog, yes, 16 to 20 hours, and for a puppy, it is even much more than that. Yes.
Yeah. And my next question is that, okay, we've got a question here. When Bunter does high five you, he uses his left paw. Same with the treat picking. Anyway, I can make him use his right paw as well.
Yes, absolutely. So there is something called shaping. Shaping is basically you view one entire behavior and then slice it into successful approximation. So for example, if I want to teach a dog to eventually settle on a mat or an elevated bed, right? There are a lot of dogs who are scared to get on an elevated bed, right? So I'll start with maybe the dog just looking at the bed, then maybe the dog just walking towards the bed, then maybe just one paw on the bed, then gradually getting on the mat or maybe relaxing on the mat. So that is called shaping. So who asked that question? I would love to get into. Okay, yes. I'll get in touch with you and we'll work on that.
We've got the question from Bunter.
Yes. I will.
Okay. And my next question is like when we come through the door or we have gone out somewhere, we just come through the door, the dog starts jumping on us and believe me, it causes a lot of scratches on your stomach or where the dog jumps. So how do we make sure that habit is, we don't make that habit do that? How do we make that habit?
First being stop the rehearsal. So for example, if you are inside and somebody comes in, have your dog on a leash so that you can have the dog near you and stop the rehearsal of jumping, right? So maybe have a very strong mat cue, right? Maybe have anything else, any other cue than that, or maybe train an alternative behavior. So for example, if you have a very strong mat cue, so the dog cannot be jumping and be on the mat at the same time, right? So train an alternative behavior and repeat it very badly.
Okay. And that's it. How do we prevent our dog from getting too reactive at certain environments? Reactiveness and hyperactiveness, all those is not so easily manageable.
So these things are very, very different. Reactivity can be out of fear, out of frustration, out of anger, anything. Depends on the context, depends on the stimulus, and it's more likely to be embedded in the emotional thing. It's more of an emotional thing. It's not just a behavioral thing, right? You teach your dog to fine, look at me or sit, and the dog sits. No, it doesn't happen. And if you're talking about what is the next thing? Hyperactiveness. It's very important to teach your dog how to relax, how to have that off switch. So when I did not know things any better, Russell, I used to think Russell is a lot of hyperactive. I mean, whoever has met Russell knows for sure, as in Russell is काफी hyperactive है and काफी चीजें हैं. It's just that we did not know how to relax. We just did not know how to relax. So there is this relaxation protocol wherein you give your dog a choice to settle on the mat, and then you gradually work on the duration. It is not an extended place stay, as in like you have to stay on the mat for 1 hour. You don't have to. No. The dog can always get off, and the dog can always come back to the mat. So it's more of a choice-based thing. It's not compulsion. So teaching a dog to get on a mat and rewarding it. So for example, if your dog wants to play fetch with you, right? Can you have 2 minutes of fetch and then ask your dog to go back to your mat, maybe relax there for 2 minutes and reward the stay with another round of fetch, right? The dog gets what the dog wants, you get what you want, and then gradually increase on the duration there, right?
Okay, this is pretty helpful. And one more important thing, that visiting a vet, not all dogs like visiting the vet. Some dogs get really stressed out. It could be because of the smell at the vet clinic, could be because of the environment of all the different dogs are in the vet clinic. So how do we help the dog stay calm in that kind of
I would say a lot of practice, a lot of fake visits, as in you just visiting there just to get the feel. Do that a lot. I mean, do that a lot. Get the dog in a habit of being touched. Whatever is practiced at the vet clinic, right? Whatever is practiced there. Maybe a hot circular thing coming onto their sides, a stethoscope coming down their body. So whatever you can think about, can you do those repetitions in a safe environment like a house, like, right? And have a lot of fake visits, as in like have a lot of
your screen is buffering again. I'm not able to hear you. Yes, the internet connectivity was a problem.
lost.
Yep. Are you able to hear
Am
me?
I here? Yes, I can. So, a vet visit, I mean, everybody has a negative association because when we don't know things better, we just take the pup there, get him injected, and then come back, right? So, what are you associating? Dogs learn through classical conditioning, is like the first thing. I mean, they just associate things together, right? So, for example, every time you have guests inside, you take the dog and lock the dog in a room, right? The dog eventually associates, oh, somebody comes in, I will be locked in the room, right? Same happens at the vet. I mean, dog goes into that building, that odd smelling building. There are people in white coats maybe, and then there is this steel table. I'm supposed to be up there, and an injection is injected, right? And there is nothing happy about it. And a lot of dogs associate car rides negatively because of these vet visits. A lot of dogs do that. I mean, you might have heard about a lot of dogs who are not comfortable traveling in a vehicle, in a car, because the only experience they have of a car ride is going to a vet clinic, right? So there are no happy associations there. So ensure those any sort of associations you build around your dog, they are neutral at least, if not positive, and try to make them as positive as you can. The treats, I mean, always carry treats. I mean, this is something that we should normalize. You have a dog, please carry treats. I mean, you never know what sort of trigger comes around. What is your dog's emotional state like? Always carry food. Always carry food. I hope that makes sense.
Oh, yes,
Yes.
it makes a lot of sense. So it's
Oh,
important
yes.
to carry.
Also, sorry, there was a question.
Sorry?
There was this question. I mean, there was this question between high value treats, low value treats, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
High value
Okay.
treats
So,
and normal treats.
yes. So, there are things ranging from dry, crunchy biscuits to stinky, sticky, or chewy treats, right? So, for example, if you compare, you can give your dog an option to choose between kibble, those dried baked biscuits. You can give them an option to choose from jerkies or cooked chicken. What will your dog choose out of those? Right? Highly likely that the dog will first go for that cooked chicken. Right? So this is your ladder, how it goes from a low value treat to a high value treat. And it's very important to note that the value treat selection board will be very private to every individual dog. Right. I mean, there are a lot of dogs who don't like cooked chicken. I mean, they just don't. So maybe cheese works for them, maybe paneer works for them, or anything else, maybe some other sort of treats work for them. Right. So you need to be very straight here. You need to give your dog a few options to choose from. Look at what is the first option that your dog chooses. Right, that is your high value treat. What is the next treat? That is your second in the class treat. Right, what is the last treat that the dog eventually eats? Right, that is your lowest value treat. So lowest value treats are good if you want to train inside in your daily sessions or whatever, inside in a closed environment. And high value treats definitely to match the outside environment, use them. So the thumb rule is sticky, stinky, chewy treats are high value treats.
Awesome. And high value treats, does it include dehydrated ones which we get from Canine India, Canine Craving,
Yes, absolutely. I mean, but rehydrate them first because a lot of dogs, for example, if you have a reactive dog or maybe somebody who zones out very easily, a sticky, chewy treat will work better for that dog because the dog is like, okay, he's had one and then he can come back to you for another treat, right? So there are a lot of preferences. Exactly, there are a lot of preferences that the dog has. I mean, not many dogs will like a dry treat in those reactive sessions. They won't. They just won't.
We've got a question here. How to deal with adopted dog who have trust issues?
Okay, so it's a very, very specific question. I mean, I would also want you to please get in touch with me over a DM. So if you have a dog who has trust issues, I mean, the first thing, yes, goes back to enough decompression, alone time. Give your dog a sniffing mat and leave the area. Let the dog get used to the area around. Then maybe enough decompression, then have a lot of engagement exercise that the dog is okay with you being around. Observe your dog's body, like give them a lot of choices. The dog wants to leave a scenario, let the dog go away from the situation. So these are your steps. These are your first basic functional steps that you would want to work with a dog with those issues.
Yes, and we'll go for another question. How do we how do we make our dogs understand that they should not pull on the leash? I got a really bad cut on my finger here. When Crypto got
Yeah.
really excited to meet Pomeranian, just like Candy, it just looks just
Okay.
like Candy. He pulled me
Huh.
so hard. I
Yeah.
had taken that chain leash because the other one was wet. I had kept it for washing. It
Hmm.
just slit my finger.
Oh, damn.
So
Okay.
after
Okay.
that,
Was that a flat leash?
sorry,
Was flat leash? Was that what sort of leash was that?
it was like a chained one, which we use like for tying the dog. I had
Got it.
taken it for washing purposes, but
Okay.
I did
Got
not
it.
have
Got it.
any
Got
other
it.
piece that day, so my hand got cut.
Got it. Okay. So, you have a lot of solicited advice on the internet, Mr. Google, and there are a lot of advices saying you should yank on the leash and get the dog to get on your side. I mean, leash walking starts with where exactly do you want your dog to be, or what sort of leash do you want your dog to maintain? I mean, I prefer a slack leash. Russell walks ahead of me. It's okay. I mean, as long as the leash is on a slack, it's not tense, it's not taut, I'm fine with it. So, hence, I prefer walking Russell on a longer line, maybe a 12 feet longer line for Russell. I mean, Russell wants to move ahead, he wants to sniff everything. Okay, fine, give him a long leash if you can, depending on the environment you're walking in. Right. So, best is teach your dog where you want to be. How do you want your dog to walk? That is the best thing.
Like we could teach them the heal command. Does it come in handy at
I
certain
mean,
situations?
a certain heel command, heel is basically dog walking on your side, right? So that is the question. That is the question. Where do you want your dog to be? As in, for example, just a second, just a second. If you have your leash handle on your left hand, and you have your dog on this side, have a treat pouch on this. So what I prefer is take a step. My dog walks here. Yes, treat. Repeat that. You want your dog to be in this bubble, depending on whatever side, whatever direction you want to choose for your dog. Maybe I prefer my dog walking on my left. Maybe I prefer my dog walking on my right. So you need to mark a bubble, as in this is okay, wherein I want my dog to be walking. Reward there. What also depends. Reward depends on your dog. For example, Russell wants to sniff a lot, right? So every time Russell walks near me, maybe I can reward him by allowing him to go sniff a lot, sniff more. So reward always depends on the learner, what the dog finds rewarding, right? Everything depends on the environment.
Kirti, just a minute. Crypto got a belt here, which he's not supposed to. No. He just woke up from his nap and the naughtiness started already.
Give him something to do, maybe a bone to chew, or have things planned, as in, oh hi Krypto.
Oh, he got, yeah. Okay, finally. Uh, okay, calm down. See,
It's okay, it's
okay?
okay. Let him do.
Okay,
It's okay. He
okay.
wants to be there. He wants to talk to
Yeah,
everybody.
yes, he does. I had taken him on a really long walk, so he just stays pretty much sleepy, and he got
Nice.
wake up now.
It's okay.
And how long there's this basic rule, you should walk your dog every day. So how long do we should walk our dogs? What is that basic rule?
Okay. I'd say this does not hold true for every dog. So, for example, you have a very fearful or a very reactive dog who had an incident, who had maybe 3, 4 incidents in the morning. Maybe skip the evening walk. Maybe give your dog enough time to decompress at home. Do a few training sessions, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes training sessions at home. Maybe make an interactive, have an interactive puzzle feeder or whatever at home. Do an obstacle course. Play with your dog. I mean, give the dog some decompression time at home if possible. And if you're walking your dog, I mean, it depends on your dog's health. I mean, a minimum of 20-25 minutes is anyways possible. Also, quality rules quantity. I mean, I want my dog to meet his needs rather than me timing my 1 hour walk. I mean, I don't want that. I want that the walk is for your dog. The dog decides when the walk ends.
So Krypto pretty much loves going for a walk. We usually walk for around 6 kilometers per day. We take 2 rounds in the park.
Yeah.
He really loves sniffing. He walks a lot.
Yes, awesome. I mean, give him a long line and take him to a park and let him sniff, let him have that sense of freedom. And every time Krypto checks in with you or comes back to you, reward. That is where you build attention and focus and a recall in a distraction like that.
So this is a very good point. I'll incorporate this in my tomorrow's walk. I'll let you know the feedback of it.
Yes, definitely.
And I've gone through. We've got a question from Bunter. 6 kilometers must take you 2 hours. No, definitely not 2 hours. It takes around 1 hour.
Okay.
Depends on the season and the dogs we meet. We meet around maybe 15 dogs per day.
Wow. I mean, okay. I mean, Candy is just like sticking on my side. Russell, yes, meets his buddies on the roads there. So yes. I prefer walking in orders.
That's really good. And I have seen some videos on Facebook of I think you may know Victoria Stilwell, the trainer.
Yeah, I do.
And
haven't been following her, but then yes.
Yeah, she goes to certain people, and I wanted to ask you about the negative reinforcement, which it was like an old school, which is not being done much now, but still it is there. We cannot tell it's completely gone. It's still there. The negative reinforcement, like the use of choke collars or the electric collars, which like when the dog goes to a fence and the owner and they'll get electrified. That is not a humane way.
Okay. Addition, I'll tell you. Addition of any tool that gives any sort of restriction to a dog and teaches the dog not to do a certain thing is positive punishment. I mean, we won't go into the details of that. We just won't. So our humane approach, our ethical approach should be whatever I'm using on my dog or whatever I'm teaching the dog, is it teaching your dog? Is it actually solving a purpose? So, for example, there is this unsolicited advice. I'm coming back to leash walking. So everybody tells you whenever your dog gets ahead of you, yank on the leash, like give him a jerk, and the dog stops or comes back to you, right? So does that actually teach your dog where you want your dog to walk, or is the yanking or the jerking telling the dog as in if he gets ahead he gets jerked, or if he gets ahead he gets yanked? So your approach should be you actually teach a dog to do something that you want and not correct something if a dog doesn't know anything because you've not taught him. Does that make sense?
Sorry? Yeah, that it does make sense. You just came on sat on me.
It's okay. Okay, so I mean, using a choke collar or a slip lead to yank a dog and releasing the leash or slacking it when the dog does an appropriate behavior does not teach a dog what you want to. convey it in a better language so that the learner learns it, right? I mean, this is scientifically proven that positive reinforcement is something that you need to actually teach something.
Okay. So it really makes a lot of sense. Like I've seen some people who just tie up their dogs and using
I'm sorry, Krypto.
actually today he's got a pretty much cuddly. Usually he rarely comes near me, and today he's
It's
got
okay, scratches, give him those scratches.
okay.
So, okay, there is this one thing that I wanted to just say it out loud. I mean, you need to decide on what behaviors are healthy according to you. As in, your dog coming, sitting on you, or maybe getting on your bed, or I mean, is it hindering your lifestyle? Is it hindering your coexistence? I mean, we should always aim at healthy behaviors and not compulsive behaviors. As in, like, okay, I'm saying sit. The dog tends to sit. I mean, no, it doesn't work like that. Dogs are beings, right? They are not robots. I mean, aim for healthy behaviors. That's it. As in, that makes your coexistence easier. That's it. That's it.
Okay. So Krypto, sometimes he comes. It's rare. It's this situation which just happened now. It's really rare.
Awesome, awesome. Give him what he wants, and then you will see the behavior happening more often.
And I still remember the day which I had asked you the question maybe around 12:30 that if since Krypto has separation anxiety, does making him sleep with me in my bed or near my bed, does it
Yeah.
has an impact? And you had
Mm.
told no for that.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yep.
can
Yep.
just
Yep. Yep. Yep.
just go like a little on that answer? Like how does this
Yep.
not?
Yep. So,
Yeah.
okay. I mean, dogs, we bred dogs to be our companion dogs. I mean, dogs are used to being around us, right? They want to be in touch with us. So this is just a trait that we bred them for. And a dog being on your bed is not him dominating you or taking hold of like things in his hand. It's not like that. And separation anxiety, talking about separation anxiety is basically anxiety or panic, which we humans also have, as in we have different anxieties. I mean, we have different things we panic for. So your dog sees you as a resource for all of his needs. Your dog sees you as a resource of his food, water, play, his needs being met, walks, everything. The dog is just unsure about, okay, now you're going, and he has no answer about when you'll be back, right? That is why dogs panic, right? A few dogs panic a lot because a lot of it is embedded in their genetics as well. Yeah. So that happens because of that. It's okay. I mean, your dog coming on your bed, sleeping with you, does not induce anxiety in your dog. It doesn't. Neither does a crate solve anxiety. Neither does that. I mean, you need to work on it as we spoke of. You need to work on your departure and coming back cues. As in, you need to make yourself going out of your house very boring, very boring. And you need to work on it gradually. Talking about maybe a second. You go out for a second, come back. Your dog knows, oh, you come back. Right. Then work gradually on that. And it's a very
Actually,
specific question.
yeah. Please complete. You were telling.
I mean, it's a very specific thing. I mean, there is no generalized answer that I can say here, and somebody wants to copy. I mean, if somebody wants to talk about it, please get in touch with me on my DM. I would be more than happy to help. I mean, I love to talk about dogs. I love to nerd about it. So yeah.
And I'm actually currently, as per your suggestions, I am working on his anxiety, and it has pretty much helped a lot. I leave him home on Sundays. Like I go out for certain things. He'll
Yeah.
be calm much more than before. He was pretty calmer when he was a puppy too, but lockdown
Yeah.
really messed him up.
Yes, yes, yes. It did, it did. But then yes, please keep continuing that. Keep continuing. The pattern has to be there. The pattern has to be there. Yeah.
Yes, consistency is the key. Yeah, and every day whenever I take him for a walk, whenever
Yeah.
like I take him, like take the trash out, I usually take him down for his potty or GP walks, and
Yeah.
I just tie him, just leave him, just to stay there, and I'll just go to put the trash and get back. And before he was like barking like crazy. Now you don't believe how calm he is when I go. Okay, he's just coming back. No, I'll be fine. It
Awesome,
really
awesome,
works.
awesome. If you want to ease that out a little further, I mean, maybe
Hmm.
scatter some treats for him. I mean, while he's engaged at it, you'll be back, right? I mean, just adding to it.
Okay. So, and we've got a quick question. Is it true dogs lick their paws when they are bored? Actually, this
Okay.
question could be behavioral or medical or a nutritional one also. See,
Yeah.
when humans get pain, I'd like to answer this question. When humans get pain
Yeah.
in the shoulders, we do this. So, dogs express that pain by chewing or licking their paws. This could be
Oh,
one.
I didn't know that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the question. Yes.
Yeah.
Continue.
The second one, like when a dog has yeast infection, there's like the
Yeah.
paw will get really red, and the dog will start licking it because he's feeling itchy there.
Okay. Yes. 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 Yes.
This could also be a reason. And the other thing could be the behavioral one. It depends whether he starts doing that when he's bored also. But if he's doing more, you may be looking at a medical reason also.
I mean, medical and nutritional should be the first choice of looking at any behavior, in my opinion. In my opinion, medical should be the first because at large we tend to avoid, I mean, just forget about it, right? And at the end, medical are those issues. I mean, we need to look at the medical thing first and then look at what is the dog getting out of it and then the other things. Yes.
Yeah. So I think that much. We got a long session. It's like we did it for 45 minutes. It became 1 hour 7 minutes.
Oh wow, oh wow. Okay. I mean, thank you. I mean, before this cuts us off, thank you everybody for the questions here. Thank you, Mithun, for having me here. I mean, I wanted to talk, and then now, fine, I have a lot of people who can talk to me. Just in case if they have any questions, please slide into my DMs. Have questions. I mean, or anything article that you would want to discuss. Have a word with me. I mean, I would want to know more. I would want to know more. I mean, maybe you can get something out of it. Please, please.
Thank you so much for joining us, Kirti, today on your
Thank you.
Saturday. I think I took a lot of your time.
I know it was a good thing having me here.
Yeah, thank you very much. And anyone,
Thank you.
whoever has any questions, you can please direct your questions to Kirti directly, or you can just send it to
Yeah.
me and I'll forward it to her. Not an issue. And does anyone have any more questions? We'd be happy to answer.
I mean, when does this cut us short?
Yep. We don't have any more questions. So, Kirti, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mithun. Thank you, Krypto. You can take him again for another walk.
No way. I want him to be out. I'll give him a Kong. I just stuffed a Kong for him in the freezer. I'll just give him that. Let him work on his mental
Awesome.
simulation.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Regarding the mental simulation, like Kong, Topple, what all could be used? I use these cupcake trays, like the egg trays, like for the sniffing
Yes, yes.
games.
Yes, yes. I mean, so there are a lot of types of things. You can, I mean, DIY options. May you can use a cardboard box. You can use a towel, roll treats in there. You can maybe use a plastic bottle or a snuffle mat or those Pong toys, topples, those licky mats, those wobble bowls that you get. You have a lot of options now. You have a lot of options. Or maybe use a good plastic container, fill in your stuff, cover it, keep it in the freezer. The dog might love to lick out of that tub. I mean, there are a lot of options that you can choose out of the options that you have at now. I mean, at present. So yes, get creative.
Yes. So that'll be all. Praise the pup. You're a trainer in Lucknow. Yes, she
Yes,
is.
yes, I am currently in Lucknow.
Thank you so much for joining me, Kirti, today. And it's been a really informative session.
Thank
Thank you
you,
so
thank
much.
you.
Okay,
Bye.
guys, thank you for all the questions. We'll be signing off now. So, see you soon. Bye
Yes,
bye, everyone.
bye.
And anyone wants to watch this video again, you can share it with your friends and family. It'll be on the IGTV highlights. Okay, guys, bye bye. Have an
Thank
awesome
you.
weekend.
Bye.
I'll be coming again tomorrow to
Yes,
discuss about the bond between humans and dogs with
and
Saurabh.
dog. Yes.
Okay, guys, see you tomorrow. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.